Hey, Shalom, Bawakar Tawab. I like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I like to give double honors unto the elder apostles, the elders, the Connecticut bishops of Great Millstone, who rule well, taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim preaching his word with truth and sincerity around the four corners. You know, like Elder Malcolm will be saying, risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Peace and salutations to the Israelite foreigners, the Israelites that live amongst the heathen, that look like some of those heathen. You know, this is not a black-only thing, like Elder Malcolm says. So, you know, you're going to have Israelites coming back into the fold that look like the nations from where they were scattered to. So you're going to have Israelites that look like Moabites. You're going to have Israelites that look like Ishmaelites. Israelites that look like Elamites. Look like Edomites. Japheth. You know. You're going to have Israelites that look like all these nations. So shalom to the speckled bird. And peace and salutations to the Akim and the few Aquath that listen and learn in silence. You know, shalom to the true believers, the true worshipers of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Those are the hopeful elect. Just coming back in the spirit and theme of prophecy, I wanted to speak real briefly on the breaking news that happened. If you have been under a rock and you haven't been, and you haven't watched the news in a little bit, you know, Israel and the U.S. Babylon made a strike on Iran yesterday or the day before. And that's big news, you know. Starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, they've been prophesying that America was going to a strike was going to hit Iran decades before it happened, and that's biblical prophecy. You know, when it speaks about peace and safety, then there's be sudden destruction. So I was just going to flow for like 10 minutes. And Lord's willingness to be edifying. You know, whatever the Spirit gives me, I'll give y'all. Man, I'm going to get that scripture first. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse starting at the top. And you see the subheading, it says, the day of the Lord. It says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Yeah, and that's it. Down President Trump, Nero 47, also known as Apostle Tahar coined him. He gave the Iran 10 days to make a deal, and I believe they struck them within like 2 or 3 days of the 10-day period. And what's funny too, I was listening to Elder Bro Kanak, and he said that they struck them over the weekend, which is true. And I believe I was listening to Elder Bishop Manatazak. He did a video on it. You know, brothers jumped on it when it first happened, so I'm late to the party, but I'm in the party nonetheless. So Tawada Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai for putting the spirit on me to even touch on this subject. He the President Trump, he struck them over the weekend, and I noticed that was a pattern. Whenever he does these strikes, he always does it during the weekend. You know, he doesn't do it during the week when it could disrupt business. The stock markets were closed when he did it. when he struck Iran. You know? Let's see, verse 4. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. And you know the light represents wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And darkness represents the confusion, people not knowing. So the Lord is telling us that we are the children of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We're not the children of confusion. You know, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, the heathen nations, they're the children of darkness. They don't know. We know what's happening. We know that the day of the Lord is vastly approaching. Yeah, it's definitely approaching. Verse 6. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Yeah. And to be sober is to be clear-minded, you know. Have all your ducks in a row, like they say. And that's what you want to be in this truth. You want to be sober-minded. You can't have your thoughts about the cares and the folly of this world. You have to be grounded and rooted in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You know, learning the breakdowns, studying, praying, fasting, you know, doing lessons, going to camp, all that good stuff. Because as you can see, it's going to come a point in time where, and that time is vastly approaching. It's coming real soon, where you ain't gonna be able to do the works of an evangelist anymore. You know, they're going to come with these they're gonna come with these draconian laws, martial laws coming, the mandatory implementation of the MOTB is coming. You know, you see in other nations, in other countries, you get jail time for preaching the Bible. That's coming to America. They're trying to do away with all religious books, but the main religious book they're trying to do away with is the Bible. Because that's where the truth is at. All those other books are rubbish. You know, bullshit mentality and bullshit theology. So, matter of fact, let me get this. It's the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And it reads, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Yeah, our salvation is nearer than when we believed, you know. When you first woke up to this truth and knew that, and found out that you was an Israelite, you thought that the earth was going to be that you thought that America was going to be destroyed the very next week. So brothers was on fire for this thing. And then come to find out, it's a marathon, not a sprint, that it's all about endurance. And like it tells you in Matthew, the 24th chapter, he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. And so, you know, you got to fight the good fight of faith, like 1 Timothy 6 chapter says. I went to camp yesterday. I was listening to the elders, and surprise guests came through. Brother Kanak came through with the bishops, you know, and they were getting down. So that was a treat that we got. We got to listen. I got to listen to Bishop Monatazak. He got to stick around, and they got to stick around. They stayed around because they was gonna set up camp somewhere else, but Apostle Tahar told them to stick around. You know, so and I got to witness all of that. I was just a fly on the wall, you know. Me being young in his faith. That was just a faith booster for me. Seeing every time I see the brothers that the elders and the apostles that I watch videos on, it's like it's not like meeting a celebrity, but it's like wow, I'm meeting the man of the Lord. I believe these to be the men of the Lord, you know. So, but that just lets you know that our time is our time is coming short, man. Our salvation is nearer than when we believed. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. I'll start at 16. It says, for we which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, we get these infirmities, we get sick, you gotta take these herbs and these vitamins. Gotta work every day, and working every day is basically breaking your body down. For though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. Every day we watch videos, every day we do a lesson, every day we go to camp, every time we go to camp, our inward man, the spiritual man, is being renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Like Bishop Tazadak always says, the things that you don't see are more powerful than the things that you do see. And it is true. Let me get this, because from what I watched from the videos, Israel struck first, and then America followed right after. And if you know anything, you know that Israel runs America. There's no denying that. Like, all you gotta do is look at the cabinet, look at the Congress, and look at the House of Representatives. Majority of the people in the office are Jewish, so-called Jewish. They're 1948ers, tiny tops, if you will. The Khazar, like Elder Malcolm would be saying, the Khazar deniers. All right, let me start at the apostles went into this chapter yesterday at camp. But I'm gonna start at 14. It's Jeremiah 49 and 14. It says, I have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. This is what's going to come to pass. These other nations are going to click up and go against Israel and America. They're going to the missiles, ICBM missiles will be shot at Israel and America because it's biblical prophecy. And that's not, 15 years ago, people were scoffing and scorning, saying that wouldn't happen. But now it's not far-fetched, You can clearly see it now, which proves that the apostles and the elders and bishops have to be the men of the Lord, because they were the only ones saying this when it wasn't PC to say. In verse 15 says, "For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men." And this is clearly talking about Israel and the state of Israel and America, not Israel the nation, but the state of Israel, where them small hatters is at. Because they've been made small among the heathen, like it tells you in Obadiah, and they've been despised among men. Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. And that's talking about Esau, because Esau is the only one that dwelt in the cleft of the rock. In the Caucasus Mountains, where they got chased at many millennia ago. And really their first home of the mountain was Petra, Mount Seir. That holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord Yahweh. Yeah, and you see, this is how you know it was talking about Edom, because they said that they make their nest as high as the eagle. And what's the symbol of America and all these European nations, these Edomite ran nations? It's the eagle. I'll let you know it's talking about Esau. Edom, the so-called white man, is the only one that portrays his nation as having the eagle. There's a clothing brand that was made popular called American Eagle. So, there's the scriptures is full of dark sayings, parables, grave sentences. Only for the learned, though. Verse 17, it says, also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. So this is future tense. See, because it says shall. Oh yeah, Edom shall be a desolation. So it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. And the Edom is talking about America, Babylon. Because when you read the heading, the subheading, this is a prophecy against Babylon. And everybody knows that modern day Babylon wasn't destroyed. This is talking about spiritual Babylon. No, I mean, this is talking about Babylon the Great, the virgin daughter of Babylon, rather. And these are code words that describe America. Because people wanted to say America in the Bible, but you have to use your spiritual eyes and ears. This was written thousands of years ago. So America wasn't conceived yet, America hadn't birthed yet. So the Lord declared the end from the beginning. Verse 18, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord Yahweh, No man shall abide there, neither shall Son of Man dwell in it. And this links up with Isaiah, the 13th chapter, where it talks about Babylon, the glory of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And you want to learn about Sodom and Gomorrah, you got to do is read, I believe, Genesis, the 19th chapter. How, the angels told Lot to take him and his family to get the hell up out of Dodge. So, I believe it's the 19th chapter. And the Lord, and when Lot and his wife and his daughters left Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord rained fire and brimstone upon it. And that was when Lot's wife looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. They were commanded not to look back. They were commanded just to run for the mountains. And and they were commanded not to look back. And how the Israelite, how the woman does. She don't listen. So she didn't listen and got turned into a pillar of salt. But Lot kept it moving. You got to keep it moving, Verse 19. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Here's the point. Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh, the Lord Yahweh, he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. See, and this is talking about them Amalekites. The least of the flock is the Amalek. He's the least of the nations. But he controls the whole world. Because like it tells you in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You see? So and everybody knows that America is being ran by Amalek, aka Jewish influence. Everybody knows that. I was watching Elder Malcolm's video, his latest video that he made, and there was a guy, and there was a video that he played inside of his video that there was a guy asking, political officials, is it America? He said, America first or Israel first? And none of them would answer. None of them. Not one person answered. They said, I'm not going to answer you. Because everybody knows that it's not America first, and America is Israel first. Everybody knows that. That's why America sends $3 billion, I believe it's $3 or $4 billion a year to Israel, the state of Israel. That's American tax dollars. That's why America goes to war, to every war that Bibi Netanyahu wants them to go to, because his handlers, the international bankers, they're Amalek. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, the DuPonts, the Schicklgrubers, so on and so forth. They're all small hatters, 1948ers. And that's the truth. It's not hard to understand. If the Lord if the Lord open up your eyes and your ears, because to other people they don't feel that nobody, they feel that nobody runs the world. That it's just controlled by government. Like, yeah, that may be true, but government has a nationality and some small hats. The international bankers run the government. You know, like Meyer Amschel Bauer said a long time ago, give me control of a nation's money supply and I care not who makes its laws. Because he can always buy out the politicians and the lawmakers. Everybody knows that money make the world go round. Trade, commerce, and Esau, Amalek has the grip hold on that right now. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out. You know, the least of the flock is going to bring them out. And that's exactly what you're seeing happening. That's why America struck Israel right after that's why America struck Iran right after Israel struck Iran. And from what I understand, Iran blocked the Strait of Hormuz, where there's trade going on. So, cause that's what came up on my news feed. So, and from what I understand, Iran already retaliated by blowing up American embassies where they're stationed at in Iran, or near Iran, rather. So, you know, things is definitely going down, you know. That's for the most part. But I'm going to end it there. I don't want to make this too long. Lord will, you was edified, and next time we're going to say shalom to the elect.